Libra's ideal match. Revealed. The truth nobody tells you about compatibility. Libra was born with a gift and a curse. The gift of seeing beauty where no one else does. The curse of seeking perfection in an imperfect world. And here's the secret nobody tells you about this sign. Libra doesn't suffer from lack of love. Libra suffers because it loves the wrong people, hoping to transform them into the right ones. But what if I revealed that Libra's ideal match isn't the one destiny hands over easily? What if it's exactly the one the universe hides until Libra learns the greatest lesson of all? That true balance isn't in the other person, but within itself. Today you'll discover who can truly love a Libra without destroying its essence. And I guarantee the answer will turn upside down everything you thought you knew about compatibility. Stay until the end, because what's coming might change your love life forever. The essence of Libra. Let's dive into Libra's universe. This isn't just the sign of the scales, justice, and harmony. Libra is far more complex than it appears. Behind that charming smile, that soft voice, and that incredible ability to make anyone feel special, there's an internal storm that few can perceive. Libra lives in constant conflict between reason and emotion, between what it feels and what it should feel, between loving too much and losing itself in the process. The scales representing Libra aren't just a symbol of balance. They're the weight of an eternal choice. On one side, the desire to be loved. On the other, the fear of losing itself. And Libra spends its entire life trying to balance these two plates, knowing that at any moment everything could collapse. That's why it's so indecisive. It's not weakness. It's awareness of the risks. Because for Libra, every choice in love is a bet of the soul. What makes Libra absolutely magnetic is its ability to see potential in people. It doesn't love what you are today. It loves what you can become. It sees light where others see darkness. It believes in transformation, evolution, in the possibility of a love that transcends the ordinary. But here's the problem. Libra falls in love with idealized versions of people. And when reality knocks on the door, when it realizes that person won't change, won't evolve, won't become what it imagined, Libra's heart shatters. Libra seeks love that is art, a love that inspires, elevates, makes aesthetic and emotional sense. It wants conversations that last until dawn, gazes that need no words, gestures that translate into poetry. It's not a demand, it's a necessity. Because for Libra, love without beauty isn't love. It's just coexistence. And coexisting isn't enough for those born to experience connection in its most sublime form. But there's a fear that haunts Libra more than any other. Loneliness. Not physical loneliness, but that emotional loneliness of being beside someone and still feeling completely alone. That's why it surrenders so quickly, trusts so easily, opens its heart even when the mind screams to be careful. Because Libra prefers the risk of getting hurt to the certainty of never having tried. And that's precisely why it needs a partner who understands this vulnerability without taking advantage of it. Someone who values its sensitivity without using it as a weapon. Libra's secret desires. Now let's enter territory that few know. Libra's secret desires. Those it hides even from itself, because admitting them would mean acknowledging its own vulnerability. And Libra is terrified of appearing weak, needy, desperate. It prefers to maintain the mask of the balanced person, the one who has everything under control. The one capable of handling any situation with elegance and diplomacy. But the truth is quite different. Behind that facade of tranquility, Libra carries an emptiness that no compliment can fill, a loneliness that no party can cure, a fear that no company can erase. Libra is terrified of being forgotten, of becoming irrelevant, of loving someone who doesn't choose it the same way it chose them. That's why it tries so hard to be perfect, to please, to never disappoint. Because in Libra's mind, if it's not impeccable, it will be disposable. What Libra desires most, in the depths of its soul, is to be seen. Not superficially admired, but truly understood. It wants someone who notices when its smile is fake, someone who realizes when it's pretending to be okay, someone who has the courage to confront it when it's losing itself in the need for others' approval. Libra doesn't need another fan. It needs an accomplice, someone who loves not just its qualities, but also its contradictions. Libra falls in love with what's said between the lines, with the way someone looks at it when they think it's not watching, with the tone of voice that changes when saying its name. Libra is a collector of details, a silent observer who stores every gesture, every word, every meaningful silence. And when it decides you're special, it makes you an absolute priority. But here's the danger. Libra has a habit of loving the idea of the person more than the real person. It creates romanticized versions, perfect stories in its head, happy endings that only exist in its imagination. And when reality doesn't match the fantasy, Libra doesn't give up immediately. No, it insists. It tries to mold, adjust, fix. Because for Libra, giving up on love is admitting failure, and failure is unacceptable. That's why it stays in relationships that ended long ago. That's why it gives too many chances to those who don't deserve them. That's why it gets hurt repeatedly believing that this time will be different. Libra's ideal match needs to understand this complexity, needs to have patience with its indecisiveness, but firmness to not let it get lost, needs to be gentle with its sensitivity, but honest enough not to feed illusions, needs to admire its inner beauty, but challenge it to grow. Because Libra doesn't need someone who agrees with everything. It needs someone who truly balances it. The signs that connect most with Libra. Now comes the moment you've been waiting for. Let's reveal which signs truly manage to create a deep connection with Libra. But, attention, connection doesn't mean perfection. It means resonance. It means two souls vibrate at the same frequency, even when everything around seems chaotic. And in Libra's case, this connection needs to stimulate both mind and heart. Because for a Libra, a relationship without intellectual depth is like music without melody. It exists, but doesn't move you. Gemini, the meeting of two brilliant minds. When Libra meets Gemini, it's like two butterflies dancing in the air. Light, free, enchanting. Both are air signs, and this means communication flows naturally. Almost telepathically, they understand each other without needing to explain. They finish each other's sentences. They laugh at the same things. They create a private universe where only the two of them exist. Gemini fascinates Libra with its sharp intelligence, acid humor, ability to transform any ordinary moment into a memorable adventure. And Libra enchants Gemini with its elegance, emotional balance, sophisticated way of seeing the world. Together they're the couple everyone wants to know. The one that seems straight out of a movie, where everything is spontaneous, fun, and full of complicity. But here's the challenge. Neither likes heavy emotional depth. Both prefer to float on the surface, avoiding difficult conversations, fleeing from confrontations, ignoring problems until they become unsustainable. Gemini fears routine, and Libra fears conflict. So when the first real obstacles arise, both tend to distance themselves instead of facing them. For this relationship to work long-term, maturity is needed. Both need to learn that true love isn't just joy and lightness. It's also weathering storms together. It's having courage to speak what bothers you. It's building roots while keeping wings. If they can achieve this, Libra and Gemini can create one of the most vibrant and inspiring partnerships in the Zodiac. Aquarius, the mystery Libra can't decode. Aquarius is the enigma that fascinates Libra from the first encounter. There's something in that detached manner, that unshakable independence, that unique way of seeing the world that hypnotizes the Libran heart. Aquarius doesn't follow rules, doesn't fit patterns, doesn't need validation. And this awakens overwhelming curiosity in Libra. The connection between them is mental before being emotional. They talk for hours about philosophy, about humanity's future, about absurd theories that no one else would have patience to discuss. Aquarius opens Libra's mind to possibilities it never imagined, and Libra brings to Aquarius a sensitivity it didn't know it needed. But this relationship has a high price. Aquarius values freedom above all. It doesn't get tied down, doesn't mold itself, doesn't bend. And Libra, however much it tries to seem detached, deep down needs constant demonstrations of affection, presence, attention. Aquarius loves in its own way, distant, rational, without dramatic exaggerations. And this can make Libra feel insecure, questioning whether it's truly loved or just tolerated. The great lesson of this union is that love doesn't need to be suffocating to be real. Aquarius teaches Libra that space doesn't mean abandonment, and Libra teaches Aquarius that vulnerability isn't weakness. If both respect their differences without trying to change each other, they can build a revolutionary relationship where two independent beings choose to be together not out of need, but out of genuine admiration. Leo, the passion that ignites everything. When Libra and Leo meet, the universe stops. It's instant attraction, magnetic, impossible to ignore. Leo is pure fire, intensity, brightness that outshines any environment, and Libra is fascinated by this, by Leo's unshakable confidence, by the way it dominates any space, by the generosity and loyalty that emanate from every gesture. Leo loves being admired, and Libra loves to admire. It's a perfect combination, up to a point, because Leo needs to be the center of attention, and Libra also likes to receive its moment in the spotlight. Leo commands and Libra balances. Leo decides, and Libra ponders. Together they can be a powerful couple, one of those that enters a place and everyone notices the energy they radiate. The passion between them is cinematic, grand gestures, intense declarations, romantic moments that seem choreographed. But the problem arises when egos clash. Leo can be too domineering for Libra's need for harmony, and Libra can be too indecisive for Leo's objectivity. What can destroy this relationship isn't lack of love, but excess pride. Both need to learn to yield without feeling diminished. Leo needs to understand that sharing the stage doesn't diminish its shine, and Libra needs to learn to express its needs without fear of displeasing. If they can overcome the battle of egos, this can be one of the most passionate and loyal unions that exist. The signs that awaken Libra's shadow. Now let's enter dangerous territory. Let's talk about the signs that stir Libra's darkest side. Those that awaken not just passion, but obsession. Not just love, but dependence. Not just surrender, but self-destruction. These are the relationships that permanently mark Libra's soul. They're loves that teach, but cost dearly. They're connections that transform, but leave scars. And here's something you need to understand. Not every love is meant to last. Some loves enter our lives to show us who we really are when we lose control, to teach us how far we're capable of going for someone, to break us in a way that, when we rebuild ourselves, we're never the same. And for Libra, these signs are exactly that. Teachers disguised as lovers. Scorpio, the forbidden fascination that consumes. When Libra meets Scorpio, something inside awakens. Something primitive, dangerous, irresistible. Scorpio is everything Libra isn't. Intense where Libra is balanced. Mysterious where Libra is transparent. Possessive where Libra is diplomatic. And this difference doesn't repel, it magnetizes. Because Libra is fascinated by what it doesn't understand. And Scorpio is a living enigma. In the beginning, it's pure passion. Scorpio looks at Libra as if it could see its soul, touches Libra as if each gesture were a sacred ritual, speaks to Libra in a way no one ever has before. And Libra feels special, chosen, unique. Scorpio has this gift of making you believe you're the most important person in the universe. And Libra surrenders completely to this illusion. But the honeymoon doesn't last, because Scorpio doesn't love lightly. It loves with possessiveness, with jealousy, with the need to control everything. It wants to know where Libra is, who it's with, what it's feeling every second. And Libra, who values freedom above all, begins to feel suffocated, begins to feel it's losing its identity, its essence, its peace. But the worst isn't Scorpio's jealousy. The worst is that Libra can't leave, because Scorpio creates an emotional dependence so deep that Libra comes to believe it can't live without that intensity, without those penetrating looks, without those 3 a.m. conversations, without that feeling of being completely emotionally naked before someone. This relationship is a roller coaster. Days of overwhelming love followed by devastating fights. Moments of deep connection followed by silences that physically hurt. And Libra stays trapped in this cycle trying to find the balance that Scorpio will never offer. Because Scorpio doesn't believe in middle ground. For it, love is all or nothing. And Libra gets lost trying to be that all Scorpio demands. The lesson? Scorpio teaches Libra that intensity isn't love. That passion without respect is destruction. That feeling everything doesn't mean feeling right. And when Libra finally manages to break free, it emerges transformed, stronger, but also more frightened, because now it knows there's a type of love that can consume it completely. Cancer, the bond of attachment that suffocates. Cancer seems to be the opposite of Scorpio. Where Scorpio is intense, Cancer is gentle. Where Scorpio dominates, Cancer cares. And in the beginning, Libra feels at home, because Cancer offers exactly what Libra seeks: affection, attention, unconditional care. Cancer makes Libra feel protected, valued, loved in a pure and true way. Cancer cooks for Libra, remembers important dates, asks about its day with genuine interest, creates a cozy home where Libra can rest from the world's rush. And Libra falls in love with this feeling of belonging, of having someone who truly cares, who puts its needs first. But gradually, Libra begins to realize that Cancer's love comes with a price. Cancer doesn't love freely, it loves dependently. It needs constant reaffirmation, needs to know it's the most important thing in Libra's life, needs daily attention, constant presence, infinite guarantees that it won't be abandoned. And Libra, who loves its independence, begins to feel imprisoned. Every outing with friends becomes drama. Every moment alone is interpreted as rejection. Every time Libra needs space, Cancer withdraws, cries, creates an emotional crisis that Libra feels obligated to resolve. And what was love transforms into responsibility. What was care transforms into demands. The problem isn't that Cancer loves too much. The problem is that Cancer loves so intensely, it forgets the other person also needs to breathe. And Libra, who hates conflict, can't establish boundaries. It tries to please, tries to be present, tries to be the perfect partner Cancer idealizes. But in the process, it loses itself. It forgets its own needs. It nullifies itself to maintain peace. And when Libra finally realizes it's suffocating, that it's lost its identity trying to be what Cancer needs, it's too late. Resentment has already settled in. The relationship that was pure love has transformed into obligation, and Libra finds itself trapped between two fears: the fear of hurting Cancer and the fear of never being itself again. The lesson: Cancer teaches Libra that love isn't sacrifice, that care can't transform into control, that two people can love each other deeply and still need space. And when Libra manages to leave this relationship, it learns that saying no isn't cruelty, it's self-care. Capricorn, the cold mirror that challenges. Capricorn is different from Scorpio and Cancer. It doesn't suffocate, doesn't dominate, doesn't demand. It simply doesn't feel the same way Libra does. And this is even more disturbing, because Libra falls in love with Capricorn's strength, its discipline, the way it has absolute control over its life. Capricorn seems to be everything Libra would like to be: decisive, focused, unshakable. In the beginning, Capricorn fascinates Libra with its practical intelligence, its ambition, its ability to build empires while others only dream. Libra admires how Capricorn doesn't get carried away by fleeting emotions, how it plans each step, how it transforms dreams into reality. And Libra believes that, beside Capricorn, it too can become this stronger version of itself. But reality is brutal. Capricorn loves rationally. It doesn't make spontaneous romantic gestures, doesn't declare its love every day, doesn't prioritize emotional moments if they interfere with its goals. For Capricorn, love is commitment. It's building something solid. It's practical partnership. But for Libra, love is feeling. It's beauty. It's poetry. And this difference creates an abyss that neither knows how to cross. Libra tries to understand Capricorn, tries to be more practical, less emotional, more focused. But deep down, it feels invisible. Because Capricorn doesn't notice when Libra is sad, doesn't notice when it needs affection, doesn't value the small romantic gestures Libra makes trying to keep the flame alive. And gradually, Libra begins to question whether it's truly loved or just convenient. Capricorn's emotional silence corrodes Libra from within. It begins to feel needy, as if asking for too much by wanting a spontaneous hug, a kind word, a passionate look. And the worst is that Capricorn doesn't understand why Libra is suffering. For it, being present should already be enough. But for Libra, presence without affection is shared loneliness. This relationship doesn't end in explosions. It ends in silence. Libra simply gives up trying to be understood, gives up hoping Capricorn will change, will open up emotionally, will demonstrate love the way Libra needs. And when it ends, there are no fights, no drama, just the deep sadness of realizing two good hearts weren't enough to create a good story. The lesson? Capricorn teaches Libra that compatibility goes beyond admiration, that it's not enough to respect someone if you can't connect emotionally, that stability without affection is a gilded cage, and Libra learns it deserves someone who isn't just by its side, but who also feels by its side. But wait, because not everything is roses when we talk about Libra in love. There's a dark side that few dare to reveal, a secret that can explain why so many Librans live relationships that begin as fairy tales and end as nightmares. Libra possesses a dangerous gift, the ability to completely adapt to the other person. You know that emotional chameleon? That's exactly it. Libra changes their tastes, modifies their opinions, transforms their personality to fit perfectly into the life of the one they love. And at first, this seems magical. It seems like devotion. It seems like true love. But here's the cruel trap. The more Libra molds itself to the other, the more it loses itself. And there comes a devastating moment when they look in the mirror and don't recognize who they've become. The songs they loved, replaced by their partner's preferences. The dreams they had, archived to avoid conflict. The essence that made their eyes shine, extinguished in the name of peace in the relationship. And you know what's most tragic? Libra does this believing they're building harmony, that they're being a perfect partner, that the sacrifice is worth it. Until the bill comes, and when it comes, it arrives in the form of existential emptiness, nameless sadness, the feeling of having wasted years trying to be someone they never were. Libra's ideal match isn't the one who accepts this self-erasure. Quite the opposite. It's the one who notices when Libra is fading and has the courage to turn the light back on. It's someone who says, I want you whole, with your contradictions, your different opinions, your raw authenticity. You don't need to be perfect for me. You need to be real. Because here's a truth that will hurt many Librans. You don't need to transform into someone else to be loved. If someone only accepts you when you stop being yourself, that person doesn't love you. They love the convenient version you created, to not bother them. Sagittarius, the adventure Libra fears and desires. When Sagittarius enters Libra's life, it's like someone opening all the windows of a house closed for years. Light comes in, fresh air comes in, possibility comes in. Sagittarius is pure movement, constant restlessness, insatiable thirst for experiences that make the heart beat faster. And Libra, who lives trapped in their elegant comfort zone, feels simultaneously terrified and fascinated. Sagittarius doesn't ask permission to live, doesn't calculate risks, doesn't worry about what others will think. And this provokes a secret envy in Libra, who spends their entire life measuring every word, every gesture, every decision, by the impact it will have on others. Sagittarius is the freedom Libra desires, but doesn't have the courage to conquer. Together they create an explosive dynamic. Sagittarius pulls Libra out of their bubble, challenges their need for control, forces them to improvise, to risk, to feel, without analyzing. And Libra brings to Sagittarius a sophistication, a social consciousness, a touch of elegance that tempers their overly wild nature. But the naked truth, this combination rarely works long-term, because Sagittarius needs space, adventure, constant movement. And Libra, however much they try to seem detached, deep down yearns for stability, for presence, for someone who stays. Sagittarius stays, until they feel they're being imprisoned. And when they feel that, no matter how much they love, they leave. What can save this relationship is a brutal agreement of honesty. Libra needs to accept that Sagittarius will never be totally predictable. And Sagittarius needs to understand that freedom doesn't mean absence. If they can find this impossible balance, they'll live a love story that defies all rules. But let's be realistic. Few succeed. Aries, the opposite that attracts and destroys. Aries and Libra are opposites in the Zodiac. And you know what they say about opposites? They attract with an overwhelming magnetic force. When they meet, it's collision, it's spark. It's an attraction so intense it scares even those watching from outside. Aries is pure fire, unfiltered impulsiveness, action without thinking. Libra is refined air, constant analysis, calculated diplomacy. Aries decides in seconds. Libra takes days. Aries confronts. Libra avoids. Aries shouts. Libra silences. And even so, there's something hypnotizing in this difference. What fascinates Libra about Aries is precisely what most terrifies them: courage. Aries isn't afraid to be truthful, to show anger, to fight for what they want. And Libra, who spends their life fleeing from conflicts, secretly admires this raw strength, this ability to fight without apologizing. On the other hand, what attracts Aries to Libra is their softness, their ability to calm storms just with words, their way of transforming any environment into something more beautiful, more harmonious. Aries, who lives in battle mode, finds in Libra an oasis of peace. But here's the problem. This difference that attracts them is the same that destroys them. Aries gets frustrated with Libra's indecisiveness, with their need to please everyone, with their fear of taking sides. And Libra exhausts themselves with Aries' intensity, with their impatience, with their inability to measure words. The fights between them are nuclear. Aries explodes. Libra shuts down. Aries attacks more. Libra withdraws more. And when they realize it, they're on opposite sides of a war neither wanted to wage. To work, they need something rare, real willingness to change. Aries needs to learn patience. Libra needs to learn courage. And both need to accept that love isn't always harmony. Sometimes it's alternating war and peace, and that's okay. Now let's talk about the most controversial, most misunderstood, and at the same time, most transformative combination that exists for Libra. Get ready, because what I'm about to reveal goes against everything you read out there about astrological compatibility. Scorpio, the love that transforms or destroys. When Libra meets Scorpio, it's not love at first sight. It's recognition. It's as if two souls who already knew each other in past lives meet again, bringing with them all the baggage of ancient loves, unresolved betrayals, unfulfilled promises. The attraction between them isn't light. It isn't easy. It isn't comfortable. It's magnetic, disturbing, impossible to ignore. Scorpio sees through Libra's masks, sees beyond the polite smile, the rehearsed cordiality, the forced harmony. And this terrifies Libra, because for the first time in their life they can't pretend, can't hide. Scorpio has the cruel gift of exposing truths that Libra spent years trying to bury. What happens between them is emotional alchemy. Scorpio descends into depths that Libra is afraid to explore, forces them to feel, to confront, to admit emotions they'd prefer to ignore. And Libra, in turn, brings light to Scorpio's darkness, softens their intensity, teaches that vulnerability doesn't always have to be pain. But this relationship has a very high price. Scorpio demands absolute truth, unwavering loyalty, surrender without reservations, and Libra, who values their social freedom, their natural charm, their ability to circulate between different worlds, can feel suffocated. Scorpio doesn't share, doesn't divide. It's either everything or nothing. The fights between them aren't superficial. They're emotional surgeries without anesthesia. Scorpio attacks where it hurts most, exposes wounds that Libra hid even from themselves, and Libra, in their defense, shuts down completely, creates walls so high that not even Scorpio can climb them. But here's the secret. When it works, this is the most transformative relationship Libra will ever have. Because Scorpio doesn't allow Libra to live on the surface, forces them to dive, to face their demons, to become whole. And Libra teaches Scorpio that loving doesn't have to be constant war, that it's possible to be intense without being destructive. If they can survive the initial storm, if they have the courage not to give up when everything seems impossible, Libra and Scorpio can build something rare, a love that isn't perfect, but is true, a love that doesn't avoid darkness but crosses through it hand in hand. Cancer, the emotional security Libra seeks. There's a combination that few take seriously, but that can be surprisingly healing for Libra. Cancer, yes, that super emotional, clingy, too intense sign. And you must be thinking, how could this work with Libra, who runs from heavy emotions? Here's the truth. Libra doesn't run from emotions. Libra runs from poorly managed emotions, from unnecessary drama, from constant instability. But when they meet someone like Cancer, who feels deeply but also cares, protects, welcomes, something changes. Cancer offers Libra what they never admit they need: a safe harbor, a place where they can remove the mask of perfection and simply be human. Cancer doesn't demand that Libra always be balanced, always rational, always okay. Cancer allows Libra to have bad days, moments of weakness, indecision crises. And you know what's most beautiful? Cancer loves to care. And Libra, who spends their life caring for others, finally finds someone who cares for them, who prepares their favorite food when they're sad, who notices when they need silence, who hugs without asking what happened, simply because they feel Libra needs it. But not everything is roses. Cancer can be too possessive for Libra's social spirit, may want constant presence, exclusive attention, guarantees that Libra doesn't always know how to give. And when Cancer feels insecure, they withdraw, create silent resentments, build emotional walls that Libra doesn't know how to tear down. The great challenge of this relationship is finding balance between closeness and space. Cancer needs to learn that Libra can love deeply and still need moments alone, social interactions, freedom of movement. And Libra needs to understand that constant demonstrations of affection aren't exaggeration for Cancer. They're necessity. When they manage to adjust these differences, Libra and Cancer create a home, not just a house, but a true emotional refuge, a space where both can be vulnerable, imperfect, completely human. And that, for Libra who lives pretending strength, is liberating. Capricorn, the stability Libra respects. And now let's talk about a combination that seems unlikely on paper, but in practice can be extremely solid. Libra and Capricorn. Yes, the romantic dreamer with the pragmatic realist, the life artist with the empire builder. How could this work? It works because, deep down, both seek the same thing: to build something lasting. Libra may seem fickle, but when they truly commit, they take it seriously. They want a relationship that lasts, that has meaning, that resists time. And Capricorn doesn't know how to do anything halfway. Either they build forever, or they don't build. What Libra admires in Capricorn is their solidity, their ability to transform dreams into reality, their discipline, their word that's worth more than contracts. Capricorn doesn't promise what they can't deliver. and this brings rare security to Libra's anxious heart. Capricorn, in turn, is enchanted by Libra's lightness, by their ability to make life less heavy, less serious, less suffocating. Libra teaches Capricorn that success isn't just material conquest. It's also knowing how to enjoy, appreciate beauty, live moments that have no financial return, but have priceless value. The problem? Capricorn is a workaholic, lives to build, conquer, ascend, and Libra needs attention, romance, moments that aren't just practical. Libra wants deep conversations about feelings. Capricorn wants to solve problems and move to action. When Libra complains that Capricorn is too cold, Capricorn gets frustrated because they're literally working to build a future together. How can you not see that everything I do is for us? And Libra responds, but I don't need a perfect future. I need you present now. To work, both need to yield. Capricorn needs to understand that relationship is also work, perhaps the most important. They need to invest time in nurturing the emotional connection, in creating memories, in being truly present. And Libra needs to value Capricorn's practical efforts. Recognize that love is also demonstrated in concrete actions, not just beautiful words. When they find this balance, Libra and Capricorn build something admirable, a partnership that combines dream and reality, romance and stability, beauty and solidity, a relationship that doesn't just survive but thrives with time.